Hello, Trinity family. This is Pastor Drew, and this is your Theology in Three. Today, I would like to talk to you about Palm Sunday and some reflections from a historical and even archaeological standpoint. So, I'd like to start by reading a section from Matthew's Gospel about Jesus' entry into Jerusalem. Now, when they drew near to Jerusalem and came to Bethphage to the Mount of Olives, then Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying to them, "Go into the village in front of you, and immediately you will find a donkey tied and a colt with her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, you shall say, 'The Lord needs them,' and he will send them at once." This took place to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet, saying, "Say to daughter of Zion, Behold, your king is coming to you humble and mounted on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a beast of burden." The disciples went and did as Jesus had directed them. They brought the donkey and colt and put on them their cloaks, and he sat on them. Most of the crowd spread their cloaks on the road, and others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. And the crowds went before him, and that followed him were shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest!" And when he entered Jerusalem, the whole city was stirred up, saying, "Who is this?" And the crowd says, "This is the prophet Jesus from Nazareth of Galilee." A couple of things I'd like to highlight here. First, the prophecy about Jesus riding on a donkey. The donkey is important because it's a symbol. It's a symbol of peace, a symbol of humility, and the symbol of a good king. David and Solomon both enter into Jerusalem riding on donkeys, symbolizing that they are good kings, peaceful kings, righteous kings. David's son Absalom chooses to ride in on a horse, and he comes with chariots, and these are instruments of war. These are beasts of war. And so he comes in as a conquering king to usurp his father's place. So we see this sort of humility of Christ as he enters into the city on a donkey. Now, what's interesting from a Roman context is that whenever the Romans conquered literally anything, their conquering general would come back to Rome and he would have what's called a triumph. The triumph was where he would parade all of the goods that he had stolen from the people he conquered, all the slaves he had taken, and most principally whoever the leader was, if they were still alive, in chains before him in his chariot as he would ride in on a chariot to the loud applause of the people. And this was one of the ways that the Romans kept the city of Rome in line and under their rule and under their thumb, was with these triumphs as they would enter, because the money and the stuff would go to the city of Rome, to beautify the city of Rome, to build infrastructure there, and often even to the people. And so you would have this idea of a triumph. Jesus comes into Jerusalem, and we call it his triumphal entry. And it's very interesting because it has some of these overtones from the Roman situation where he's coming in, and it frightens the Pharisees. It frightens the Jewish leaders because they're like, who is this? Who is this guy? He's entering like a king. He's entering like a king, riding into the city this way. And so it frightens the enemies, but it also emboldens the people who are with him. Notice there's 2 groups in this crowd. The first group is the people who are in the city going, "Who is this guy?" And the second group is the group who are on the hillside coming in with him. What we need to understand about the groups is the people who are in the city live in the city. They're Judeans. They live in Jerusalem. The people on the hillside have come for the Passover festival. It's a pilgrimage festival, so they've come from Galilee. This is Jesus' home crowd. It's like a home crowd advantage. And so they're all camped outside the city because there's no room for them inside the city. And so Jesus rides in through the crowd. He's got his supporters with him, which is also probably why the religious leaders are frightened. It's because at a snap of a finger, Jesus could have an army, and he could attack the city. And so there's a little bit of a frightful situation there for the people who are in power, because Jesus enters in very much like a conquering hero, very much like this Roman general in the triumphs of Rome, and he's got an enormous number of people with him. And so it can be very frightening. It's also worth noting that at the end of the story, when they crucify him, the people shouting "crucify him" aren't these people on the hillside. It's the Pharisees and the religious leaders and the group they had. The people on the hillside probably didn't even know Jesus was under trial until he was on the cross already. So it's very interesting to look at this from a historical standpoint. I think it can be very, very cool, because what we see here is we see a humble king riding into the city to his throne, to his triumph, but not the way people think. His throne and his triumph is on the cross. as he dies for the sins of the world, as he dies for your sins and for my sins, and then as he rises from the dead. That is his triumph. That is his throne. And so as we look at the triumphal entry, it defies human wisdom. It defies human ideas of the world. It defies human power. But it is the foolishness of God, which is wiser than men. And so as we look at this story, it's very cool to see all these different historical pieces fall into place for us as we understand the story better. I pray that you have a blessed rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you soon.